Right now, law enforcement is trying to retrace the steps of a man they believe is responsible for at least a dozen deaths.
And in the meantime, we have just learned the name of the Metropolitan Police officer who was shot but has survived. The entire ABC 7 News team has been on this story all day and evening. We have a team of reporters covering every angle. We begin with Brad Bell, who just got the names of 7 of the victims. Brad?
Yeah, we have a lot of new information to share with you at this hour, but we will start with those names. As you said, 7 of the 13, and we can read them to you now. They are 59-year-old Michael Arnold, 53-year-old Sylvia Frazier, 62-year-old Kathy Gard, 73-year-old John Roger Johnson, 50-year-old Frank Kohler, 46-year-old Kenneth Bernard Proctor, and 61-year-old Vishnu Pandit. Additionally, we believe that all of them were civilian employees. None were active duty military personnel. We can also tell you that there were additionally 8 injured people. 3 of those people suffered gunshot wounds. None of those gunshot wounds is considered to be major or life-threatening at this point. A couple of other updates. The shelter-in-place order that had been in place for this entire community has now been lifted, but the big headline is now authorities are confirming that the gunman was acting alone. The workday had just begun. It was 8:15 when the gunman opened fire inside Navy Yard Building 197.
We saw the man down the hall with a rifle, and he aimed at us. He shot high and missed, and we were all yelling for people to get out of the building.
And so people ran. Navy Commander Tim Gyrus helped guide the evacuation and then witnessed an unfathomable horror when a man next to him was hit and fell.
Heard 2 gunshots. I looked in the direction where the gunshots were coming from. I looked down. The guy next to me who was standing and talking to me was down in front of me on the ground.
At about that time, 7 minutes after the first call for help, police were rushing in.
It certainly was one of the worst things we've seen in Washington, D.C. Multiple victims. There was gunfire still going on.
The officers ran toward the gunfire and quickly found the gunman, now identified as 34-year-old civilian IT contractor Aaron Alexis. Alexis was from Texas, but had been working here since August. He would not surrender.
There was multiple engagements with the suspect.
In one final gun battle, both an MPD and a U.S. Park Police officer hit the suspect multiple times. He fell dead. But nobody could be sure he was acting alone, so helicopters swooped in to evacuate a wounded person from the roof of the building. Thousands of employees at the Navy Sea Systems Command sheltered in place for hours as police went door to door. The death toll stands at 13, including Alexis. More than a dozen, including an MPD officer, are injured, but Chief Kathy Lanier says it could have been far worse.
There's no question he would have kept shooting.
Well, now one thing that was missing from that report, and we still don't know, is a motive for this. Authorities say they just don't know why this man would have gone in there and opened fire. A couple other questions have been answered. We do know that he got in using a legitimate ID badge. He had business in the facility. He was able to drive in, park, and walk into the building with his weapon. Now, at the outset, we mentioned that we know the identity of the Metropolitan Police officer who was shot and injured during the attempt to stop this gunman. He's been identified as Scott Williams. We know he's a 23-year veteran. He is a canine officer. His injuries are not life-threatening. We're told that he's recovering tonight and in good spirits. And especially, he wanted to thank the NCIS, the Navy officers who actually carried him to safety from the building. We're hearing a lot of stories of heroism today. Near the Navy Yard, Brad Bell, ABC 7 News.
Okay.